listening to the Chomp Cast, the official podcast of Sword Chomp. And remember, you can always go to swordchomp.com where you can access the many places our podcast is available for download. But if you're listening to the show right now, that means you found us. So welcome to the madness that is the Chomp Cast. You can also find us on Patreon if you want to support us financially. www.patreon.com/swordchomp. Look for our special VIP tier. We are in a Chomp Cast state of mind for this week's show. We are running down an insane amount of polls this week, from Tomb Raider to eating cake for breakfast to the plague that is sriracha sauce, to get Josh's thoughts on that and everything else in between. The topic of the show is mental health and video games, from how games have affected our mental health to how games can help us cope with anxiety and depression. I have a teeny tiny Pokemon Sun and Moon story for the crew, which should transition nicely into the bio break for this week. And we have tons of amazing listener comments to engage with. It's going to be a fun little audio shindig. I will say that. Shay, why do you have your finger up, Shay? Why is it like this?
Oh, I'm counting the amount of times you sniffle during this podcast. So you're at 1 so far.
Okay. All right, now I'm not going to sniffle anymore because I know you're counting. So I ruined your game. Sorry. Well, I guess I have to introduce you now first because you just showed up. You just showed up on the audio, so I have to introduce Shay first this week. Shay Layton is here.
That's not fair.
Sorry, I'm sorry. Sometimes it pays to call out people's sniffles, I guess. Shay Layton, the professor, is here from Japan. I guess we had a pretty exciting today. We got your Into the Breach podcast up for public consumption. Yeah,
we did, and I don't know if you can hear in the background, but the police are going to get someone. So the podcast is so hot that I'm under arrest or some weird shit like that. Apparently.
That makes sense.
Or it might be because Josh isn't wearing a bra.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's more likely, I'll say. It's so hot in Josh's world that he's just naked. I think every week now we record, Josh is just naked on the webcam, which we're not complaining about at all. So,
First he took off just one of his belts because he's really modest about it at first. You know, he grew up in an Amish family. So he just took off a belt. He's slowly grown from there. He took off his cardigan next. I don't know why he is Amish and wearing a cardigan. He's a very fancy Amish person. From there, he took off his fake beard, and we've grown from there.
I wish people could just see he's just making a bunch of facial expressions, which means he's not going to humor this with any actual words. So Shay, so if you want to check it out, we have an interview up with the creator of Into the Breach, which sadly is a game that few people have heard of or played, but it's on our side podcast, Evoking the Sublime. If you want to search for the name of our show, look for that interview among with others. So that's cool. Excited about that? Yeah, he's excited.
Yes.
He's excited. Shay Lane's here. Glad to have you, Shay. I guess, okay, Fish, now I can give you your proper intro. Okay, I'm sorry. I know it was a little strange for you. Mm-hmm. Shay just
getting antsy here now.
All right. Throwing you off your game.
Like a crack fiend here, just waiting for my hit.
Well, you remember those days well. Wait for that next hit. He's shaking. He's tweaking out. One day we'll get this video to people because if only they could see the things that are going on here. Anyways, Anthony Fisher is here from Texas, a.k.a. the Filipino Johnny Depp, a.k.a. Fish, a.k.a. Dog Murderer. That's what I call you now.
Wow.
Murder of canines, you sick fuck. I have video evidence, Fish. I'm not making this up. I have video evidence of you running over a dog in Far Cry.
What would the equivalent of Dog Whisperer be but someone who kills them in video game form?
Huh.
The dog Death Whisperer.
The dog Cyber Attacker. The dog...
I got nothing.
Come on, we got to get our brains in the clever, witty mode here. Well, if something comes to us,
we need to formulate this with a think tank. We need to hire a think tank just to come up with a new name for Fish.
We'll get Cambridge Analytica right on that.
No,
Um,
I reviewed that video and I took a look at where that dog came from, and
View the evidence. Okay.
that was clearly a Peggy dog. One of those cultist men let loose one of their dogs, and he jumped out in front of the semi and
It was a Peggy dog. Okay.
ran over.
So therefore, yeah, I think Shay tried to make you feel bad in the video. He was telling you.
He did.
He was
He did.
like, it
And
was
for a
like,
moment-
A dog, dude. A dog's a dog. It's adorable.
does that apply when the dog wants to kill you and rip your nuts off? I don't know if that applies.
Then we let it happen. We let it happen because a dog is a dog.
What's the animal in that game that goes right for your balls? Is that the badger?
Yeah.
Okay, it's not the dog. I don't know what the animation is for the dog, but it's probably brutal. How about this? I just Googled some words. How about Reaper, the dog Reaper? That's not bad.
The dog reaper. The dog
The Reaper. You're the dog
the
Reaper.
reaper. The dog reaper.
It's got a nice ring to it.
That sounds a little too close to raper.
I don't know. Well,
How about the dog reapist?
yeah, no one took the jump to dog Raper except you. So
Except fish.
I don't know. I thought I heard you guys whisper it under your breath.
Nah, that's you, dog whisperer.
I'm gonna put that video
yeah.
up on our VIP Instagram. So if you sign up, you can watch it because that's where it's gonna be. And how's that for a selling point? Sign up for our VIP Instagram and watch fish run over dogs. That's the kind of high quality that we provide. But that's where it's going. It's too hot for Instagram. It's too hot.
Wow. How much for that sweet deal, Morgan?
It's only head on over to our Patreon account and you can find out. No, but seriously, it's funny to see Fish's terrified reaction, but I'll get that out there. Anyway, Fish, glad to have you here this week. We can talk a little bit of that at the roundup at the back of the show. Your fun Far Cry experience here with co-op with Shay. Joshua Fowler's here, the one and only, as we already alluded to, shirtless, sweating it out in Michigan, because his podcasting zone is at the very top of his house. And as we know, that's science. That's where it gets the hottest. At the very tip is where it's the hottest, right, Fish? The tip is the hottest.
That's where all the blood just accumulates.
That's right. Accumulation. It's the blood gulch. That doesn't make any sense. But Josh, we're glad to have you here. How'd you feel about? You're the Overwatch expert. I know they announced a new Overwatch character this week. Some sort of like hamster rolling around in a robot hamster ball.
Yeah. He's one of the new tanks. He just kind of rolls in and disrupts the enemy team. Not sure exactly how he's going to fit in just yet, just because he's so different than any of the other tanks. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see exactly how he works, because he's not really shielding the rest of your team at all. He's going to have to kind of make space by just knocking people around and getting in their face. And we'll see if that actually works out. But yeah, he's a ton of fun to play anyway. Even if he ends up being bad, he'll be lots of fun just to roll around with.
When does it actually drop? Is it out already? You can already play the hamsters, or a certain day?
He's on the PTR, so whenever they get him bug free, he'll be live. So that's usually a couple weeks.
Bug free. You know, that was my favorite tweet. That guy who was like pretending to be Blizzard in their marketing room. He's like, how can we make a character that people aren't going to want to fuck? I know, let's put a cute little hamster in a death ball. 2 hours later. Damn it, they found out a way to have sex with him. I don't know what that's alluding to, except the fact that the internet has probably already done furries are a thing, Blizzard.
Yeah,
come on.
that Hamtaro shipping fan club was on it as soon as they realized there was new material.
Hamtaro. They were freaking out. They were losing their hamster fucking mind. All I get to say, Josh, is that I think that new character looks rather cheeky. Yeah, hamsters, they store a lot of food in their cheeks. But yeah, so I'm interested to get your thought. I'm gonna do a poll on. I'm gonna do a poll on it next week, just see what people think of it for fun, because it released after this week, so I couldn't do it. But I'm excited to to see what people think. It's interesting. It's a bold. It looks like in third person you can roll around on the ball too, or whatever. So, anyways, glad to have you here, Josh. I of course am Morgan Barnes from Montana. Sorry, I was laughing because Shay was shoving an entire banana down his throat. See, Shay, I didn't want to mention it, but you made me laugh, and then I have to explain to the listeners because there's a very confusing laugh there.
That's fair. That's fair.
But impressive though, he got the whole banana down his throat. That was the cool part. I was really impressed by that. The whole thing. I was going to tell you guys. So I had a really brief story before we kick this off about. So I tried this week as I've been kind of playing Pokemon Sun and Moon just in my free time. There's nothing this summer going on right now, so I'm kind of catching up on that. I told you guys about that last week. I told Fish about this. I was trying to do the Ash thing that he does that's really annoying where he never lets his Pikachu evolve and he forces it to stay a Pikachu forever. So I tried to do that with the that cute Rittata Pokemon that I like so much, the Alolan Rittata, the Black Rittata. So I wasn't letting it evolve. And my plan was at just the right moment when it was like a level 30 or something, I was going to be in a situation that was so dire that I needed it to evolve. It was going to be just like the TV show. All hope was going to be lost, and it would finally evolve into a fat, grumpy rat and save my ass. And it was going to be magical, right? This is the kind of nerdiness that my brain does. So I go to do that, and I'm fighting this boss. It's an Alolan Marowak. You'd appreciate this, Fish. It's the Marowak boss in the game. It's like the second or third trial, I think. Mm-hmm. And it's that new ghost fire type Marowak. It's pretty badass. So I finally evolve it because it's kicking my ass, probably because I wasn't evolving my Pokemon, so I was having trouble. And I had the Owl starter as my other guy, so the fire moves were just killing it. And I had a Wishy-Washy, but I wasn't having too much luck with it, even though I thought it was a really cute Pokemon. So I bring out my Rittata that's now evolved to Eradicate, and I go to use Sucker Punch, and it uses Protect and shields itself, pulls down its friend helper Pokemon, and then just wipes the floor with me, right? So at this point, I'm like, well, fuck, my magical moment was ruined. So I pull out that cute little Wishy-Washy, right? And I'll tell you what, that Wishy-Washy Pokemon is pretty badass. I did not know this, but that Pokemon, when it hits, I didn't look this up or anything, but I guess when it hits level 20, which I was exactly a level 20, if you enter the battle with more than, I think, 75% HP, it will evolve into its schooling form, which is that giant school of fish Pokemon. They call it like the Demon of the Sea in the Pokédex. It's actually a really cool looking Pokemon. And I just crushed that Marowak. So it went from like, I thought I was going to have this magical moment with my Rittata / Eradicate. And I ended up having this really beautiful moment with Wishy-Washy, which is now one of my favorite Pokemon in the game. And it's cool. I can't think of any other Pokemon that evolve like that. Like just like a certain amount of HP, and then whenever you get under 25% HP, it actually evolves back into the little fish again. So it's a very strange kind of evolution, but very cool.
That is really cool. I mean, that emulates, without getting too nerdy or too in depth, that emulates kind of just what a lot of animal like fish do in the oceans. Basically, there's more power, or there's more strength in numbers essentially, so they band together to kind of avoid basically predation. So that's really cool that like they did that. It's
smart. It's a smart form of evolution. Creative.
It is, yeah. And I feel guilty because I was so hyped for that game, and then I never got into it because of the stupid Rotom decks, and I kind of feel guilty because I love Pokemon and I really do want to play that game.
How far were you before you quit on it?
Dude, I don't even remember. Like I was somewhere at some place at some time, and I was like, I can't fucking do this anymore.
Did you bring your 3DS to Japan?
Yeah. I mean, I did because I still had the intention of playing it. I just never made it around to it, and I still haven't because there are other things that exist. So.
It'll still be sitting there. The same thing happened to me before that show. If you go back and listen to that really old podcast, that's when I went through a really bad time in my life. I had an anxiety attack right before that show. I was moving, all sorts of stuff. So that game was kind of scarred for me, much like Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze was, because I was going through a divorce.